Honored guests, friends, family, faculty. Based on some of the outfits I'm seeing on stage here today, I'm going to guess extras from the Harry Potter set. Thanks for making it out. It's strange, but sure. I do just want to thank all of you for coming here today, and I just want to start off with a few words of thanks. First off, I want to thank the Convocation Committee for all their hard work in organizing today's events. Today promises to be a very important day for all of us, and it wouldn't have been possible without all your hard work. I would also like to thank all of the faculty members in attendance, and no, this isn't just my attempt to make up for mocking your outfits. I'm sure I speak for many in the class of 2012 when I say that you have been invaluable mentors over the past 3 years. Your support, your guidance, it's really enriched our time here at Western Law, even if it was a little cruel of you to force us to learn civil procedure. I would also like to thank our very own Dean Scott. As Dean Scott alluded to earlier, he's just completed his first year here at Western Law. And while I don't know much about him, I do know that we have a few things in common. Like me, Dean Scott hails from cottage country. And like me, Dean Scott tore up law ball with his amazing dance moves. But today isn't about the distinguished professors of Western Law, or our dean, who's got moves that would put Drizzy to shame. It's about all of us. It's about the class of 2012. So last but certainly not least, a big thank you to all of you. Not only have you made the past 3 years a wonderful experience, but you have all demonstrated the poor judgment that is necessary to nominate someone like me as your valedictorian. And this is a decision that each of you will no doubt have to explain to your parents by the time I'm done. But all kidding aside, I am truly honored and humbled to have been chosen as your valedictorian. When I came to law school 3 years ago, one of the biggest anxieties I had for that first day wasn't about the course load or entering a new program. It was simply the fact that I wasn't going to know a single one of you. I had a lot of anxiety and fears about being surrounded by strangers, and I'm sure that this is a feeling that many of you shared that first day. But today, as I look out into the crowd and I see the faces of so many people, many of whom I met on that first day and bonded with over our shared love of Food Network, who I'm lucky to not only call my friends, but call my colleagues as well. And I have a lot of respect for each and every one of you, so to be given the opportunity to speak on your behalf is something I'll always remember, so I do want to thank you today. But enough with all the pats on the back and the long-winded thank yous. Let's just get into this. So here we are, class of 2012, graduation day. It's a day to put aside talk of perpetuities and ratios and when being drunk is a valid criminal defense, which in my opinion is the cornerstone of any good legal education, and I'm sure the Honorable Ian Binney would agree. And instead, simply reflect upon the past, take pride in our accomplishments, and look forward to what the future might hold. As I reflected upon our time at Western Law over the course of the past month, you know, with all that free time I had, I kept thinking about that first day of law school way back in the fall of 2009. We were so fresh-faced, so full of energy. We had no idea of the challenges that lay ahead, whether they came in the form of 9 a.m. Thursday morning lectures, or just simply the one they call Welling. Or he who shall not be named, if you want to stick with the whole Harry Potter theme I kicked today off with. But getting back to that first morning, I remember how during his welcome address, Dean Holloway spoke in such glowing terms about how talented and diverse our class was. I remember how he told us that our class included a sports broadcaster, an air ambulance pilot, a competitive equestrian rider, a police officer, members of the Canadian Forces, published authors, and students who spoke multiple languages. Now, I don't know about you, but as a person who barely speaks one language, as I'm sure you can already tell, and whose most significant accomplishment prior to law school was eating an entire box of Cinnamon Toast Crunch in one sitting. That's true, actually, it's sad. I felt a little unaccomplished by comparison. But I also remember that first morning when the dean referred to Western Law as a truly special place, a place that he promised we would all come to know and appreciate for its friendliness, its closeness, and the vibrancy of its student culture. If you ask me, the past 3 years have proven this description to be entirely accurate. But this reputation for closeness and collegiality is no accident. It's a testament, both to the kind of students that Beryl has been crazy enough to admit in the past, but most importantly, it's a testament to each and every one of you. The way in which you have chosen to treat your colleagues over the past 3 years has made an immeasurable contribution to the unique and powerful culture that Western Law has developed, not just in the province of Ontario, but across this country. Now you might be thinking to yourself, so what? We were decent to one another. How difficult is it to do that, really? But we all know that this sort of mutual respect and support can be a rare commodity. This world can be filled with people who care little, if anything, for the people that they call their colleagues, but not for one moment of my 3 years at Western Law did I ever experience such a selfish attitude. Instead, what I saw was each and every one of us readily and without hesitation buying into the idea that no one accomplishes anything in this life alone. I never saw someone refuse to extend a helping hand, to send class notes, even when the reason for missing class was a little dicey, like, say, studying on Barney's patio. I never saw someone refuse to share summaries, organize study groups, or just listen to somebody vent, even if it meant giving up precious little free time to do it. I think maybe an anecdote might help illustrate for some of our guests today exactly what I mean by the supportive attitude that exists at Western Law. It was during the most recent exam period that I saw a fellow member of my class, and I won't embarrass them by calling them out specifically, but he had just finished writing his last law school exam ever. And instead of enjoying it like I guess any normal person would, he took an entire day of his time to help a group of his fellow students prep for one of their finals. He didn't have to do this, and no one would have thought any less of him if he hadn't offered up this time, but he did so readily and without any hesitation. And it's this sort of attitude that serves as a testament to the spirit of collegiality and support that the class of 2012 has made immeasurable contributions to over the past 3 years. And let's be honest with ourselves. Despite all of the obvious pressures to compete at law school, we are all pretty nerdy A-types after all, we needed to be able to work together if we had any intentions of surviving the past 3 years with the small scraps of our sanity that we gleefully hold on to today. We needed to support each other through those frightening first weeks when we all did believe that a 5% case brief would dictate whether we'd be a future Supreme Court Justice in the vein of the Honorable Ian Binney or an ambulance-chasing lawyer in the vein of the Honorable Lionel Hutz. Without each other, we wouldn't have been able to survive that first year course load. We all know that we wouldn't have made it through ethics for lawyers, and for all the non-law school guests in attendance today, that actually is a class. It's not just the world's biggest oxymoron. Sorry, Professor Graham, I couldn't help it. We needed each other to help find balance in our lives, whether it was by organizing intramural teams or organizing Dennings. And I know we have a lot of non-law school people in attendance here today. So for those of you who don't know what Dennings are, trying to think of a way to describe it that would be appropriate for this sort of event. Let's just say it's a glorious Western tradition where future leaders of this country are able to engage in activities that will almost certainly cause them to fail the Law Society's good character requirement. I think that's probably the best description. And by working together and supporting one another over the past 3 years, we've accomplished some pretty amazing things. We've won moot trophies, kept CLS and pro bono running to the benefit of countless members of our community. We've planned wonderful events like 3YP and Law Ball. We've taken home Law Games trophies, brought distinguished speakers to our school, run so many wonderful clubs and committees, and raised thousands of dollars at our Obiter Dicta fundraisers. All of these were wonderful accomplishments and ones that you should all reflect upon proudly today. But never forget, they were only possible because of our class's commitment to collegiality, friendliness, and community spirit. The attributes that Dean Holloway alluded to on that first day back in the fall of 2009, and the attributes that, in my opinion, have come to define what it means to attend Western Law. But enough about the past. What about today? Graduation day. A time to celebrate, a time to reflect upon your accomplishments, to be sure, but it's also a time to thank those guests in attendance here today whose love and support has made everything we're here to celebrate possible. So if I could speak directly to sort of the back rows, all the friends and family in attendance here today, I just want to say that while I'm sure you all have your favorite member of the class of 2012, my parents were particularly psyched to see Jeff Bookman. Just know that no matter who you came here to see, you're in the presence of a group of students who are moving on to do some pretty incredible and important things. Many are going to leave here today to begin working for large Bay Street firms. Others will practice in cities across this country. Some will work for governments. Others will head to small towns or community legal clinics, helping some of the most disadvantaged members of our society. Still others will choose not to practice law at all, get into something like finance or academia. We call those people the smart ones. But the point I'm trying to make is that no matter who you came here today to see, friends and family, just know that your hard work has paid off. You've played an instrumental part in shaping our class, a class that is filled with talented, intelligent, and thoughtful students whose accomplishments today are only possible because of everything that you have done. So thank you. But no, I'm not done yet. That was a fault. You can clap, but I've got like 8 pages left. This is a 3-hour speech. But now that we're graduates of Western law, what does the future hold? In many ways, we're graduating at a time of great uncertainty. That's something that Steph had alluded to earlier. Students continue to struggle to find articling positions, and even once these are secured, we continue to feel anxiety about things like job prospects, higher back rates, opportunities for junior associates, the list goes on. Put quite simply, there are a lot of challenges that still lie ahead. And as we're forced to face these challenges as young professionals, we will no doubt question whether we are making good use of the degrees that we're receiving today, and whether we're on the right path for a long and successful career. Now, it's usually at this point in a valedictorian address that I would actually wrap up by calming these fears and anxieties with some grand words of wisdom or a quote by Yeats or something that you could carry with you during the challenging times ahead. But let's be perfectly honest. If I had answers that would resolve the issues facing our profession or alleviate your anxiety, pretty sure I'd be making millions on self-help books instead of reading that taxation of corporations and shareholders section of the bar materials. Again, I still have no idea what the hell paid-up capital is, and if you do, we're no longer friends. So instead of being so arrogant as to believe that I have any sort of answers to provide you for the years ahead, I'd just like to conclude by leaving you with the following simple message. Remember that our time at Western Law has been a gift, an opportunity that many in this world could only ever dream of. We should be humbled by that. Remember the lessons that we've learned here over the past 3 years, and I don't just mean in the classroom. I mean to treat each other with respect, to support one another, and to work to find balance in our lives. These are going to be invaluable skills in the future. Remember the people who brought us here today, who have made everything we've accomplished possible. We all know that we wouldn't be here without them, so take time to thank them today. And most importantly, remember that the law, or indeed any profession that you choose to pursue, does not require your future successes to be measured by things like higher back rates, titles, fancy offices, paychecks, or who's working the most high-profile cases. But instead, your success can be measured by the small yet meaningful contributions that all of you are more than capable of making to your communities, to your colleagues, and to your profession. If we can remember all of this, then I have no doubt that each and every one of us will live a life filled with success, no matter what challenges the future may hold. Congratulations, class of 2012, and thank you very much.